I have a lot of things that are very, very wonderful. There are some wonderful ways that we find them, and they just seem to appear in here. People bring them in. Can you tell me what this is? And yes, I can.
Hello.
Hey, how are y'all today?
Wonderful,
Been
wonderful.
here before?
How are you
Hi,
guys?
welcome. We can help you guys at all. Just have you been here before?
No.
Okay. Well, we've got 5 levels. If you're in the vinyl, go down the stairs. I've got about 6,000. So we have this level, we're downstairs to underground. Up here you have shopping. You have about 4 shops and a great big ballroom here. And then to see the furniture, which is dropped in wonderful, then coming in Saturday morning, who wants it all? But anyway, go around the corner, down the steps, left and right, you'll see some fabulous stuff.
Okay.
So just look around. We'll answer any questions.
Michael, I give tours here. 1800s Holy Bible that has the actual brass corners on it and brass clasps. I am the manager of the bookstore here at Calico Antiques Mall, and I've come in for Miss Dorothy and I've redone her entire bookstore. Created several different themes, put together several different encyclopedia novels and volumes. Everything from William Shakespeare to Kipling to Somerset Maugham, Funko Wagnalls, Thackeray works. I got National Geographic magazines going back all the way to the 80s in order. I mean, unique, rare, and antique books. That's what I do. It was last August. I came across some antique items that I was trying to get a value on. And I stopped by and she gave me some advice. And while I was talking to her, I was looking at the book room. I kept looking at the book room while I was talking to her because I'm like, wow, we need some help up in there. And as we just continued talking, she was fascinating me with the things that she had in here. And it was very interesting with the items that I had and the information that she gave me. She's a wealth of knowledge. But I kept looking at the book room. So finally, when I asked her about it, she said, I really need some help up in there. I really do. And I was like, yeah, you really do. And she was like, one day I'm going to find somebody. And I said, well, you know what? Maybe we can do something now. And I've been coming in ever since. I give tours. And just, I've never been in antiques before. And so I find everything here fascinating. I mean, it's intriguing. I mean, it's mind-blowing. Every day when I come in, I see something really different. So Miss Dorothy, she took me on a couple of levels and pointed out particular items to me, like a replica of the 1725 Stradivarius violin. I didn't think I'd ever see one of those in my life, And we just moved through slowly, and over a period of time, I just continued on throughout the building. And now I know a lot about the place, and I just find it an amazing place to come to every day.
It's for children.
Miss Dorothy is like a second mother to me.
Let me just read this to you.
Mentally and spiritually. Okay, she really is. I find her, again, she has a vault of information that astounds me, really and truly.
I'm Dorothy Brown, and I've had shops all over New Orleans. I had a shop in Mississippi City. I had a shop in Long Beach. Then I had a huge shop on the coast in Bay St. Louis. It was a bigger building than this building. We have a 5-level building filled with nice things and very special things. You do not see this sort of thing in most places. In fact, everything has been handpicked. Everything has a story. Some things are 500 and 600 years old. But we have, I can remember almost every piece that we've brought in, where it came from, who were the people we worked with, what house or what building it came out of. So we have some mostly very interesting, very unusual things. After I was married, my husband and I decided to go to St. Augustine, Florida, to visit it and to sort of check it out and go into the museum there. And there was an ad in the local paper, antiques for sale, on a weekend in a house, and my husband and I went in, and these things were from Venice. They were highly carved, beautiful pieces of furniture that had been brought back from Venice with dragons and gargoyles and everything, and we just flipped. And so all of a sudden I didn't like the new furniture anymore. I liked looking at the old furniture, and we bought some pieces, brought them back to Memphis where we were living, and we started going to antique shops, and from then on I just got hooked.
It's my third beautiful china set in the world. This one came out of a copy out of Pauper's Weekly magazine. Instead, this was actually a cash register back in the 20s and 30s. Some say it's earlier than that.
My dad was a teacher at Princeton University in the field of classics. He was a genius. And Bennett Cerf, who was the head of Random House, Daddy would go in and talk on the radio in those days. He would take the train in on Sunday morning, meet Bennett Cerf, and they'd have about an hour where they talk intellectual things. I went to an all-girls school in my high school. My best teacher was an art teacher. And man, did she teach me art. I mean, here I was, a freshman in high school, learning all the artists of all time. I had Latin and I had Greek in this all-girls school. Then it was time to go to college, and I got the New Jersey Regional Scholarship and was accepted at Vassar. I stayed there for 2 years. It was an all-girls school. I didn't really like it, very snobby. And so 2 summers I was with my dad over in Rome because he was the director of the American Academy, and the American Academy did all the classics in Rome every summer for teachers. So I went over there and I did his first summer. We motorcycled up to Paris, and I decided I did not want to go back to Vassar at all. So I enrolled in Paris at the Sorbonne. And I spent my junior year independently in Paris. I bought myself a little Vespa scooter, went all over. I went to Versailles and Limoges and went to Fontainebleau, which was, of course, Napoleon's place with Josephine. So I went all over France. And then then my mother said I had to go back. I had to go back to Vassar to complete and get my degree. I mean, that was degree. So anyway, I went into New York, got immediately a job with TWA. I was standing in New York with the snow up to here and my galoshes and this old coat and thing. And he had been dating me, he said, and I had been flying to Cuba because I had a boyfriend in Cuba, in Havana. So anyway, I got back and he said, marry me. And he said, and come south. And that sounded pretty neat to me, and I loved him. He was a sweetheart. So I married him. We had our honeymoon in India, and he was on this big ship, and I had to climb up the ropes with high heels. And in those days, the skirts were, these billowy skirts. Oh my gosh. But anyway, I had my honeymoon in India, came back, and we settled in Memphis. We were in Nashville. We were on the Gulf Coast, and then I started going into the antique business. All right, let me tell you about several things that are really of interest. I had a box because I've been taking people all over Europe, and I brought things back from England, and I put my hand on this thing. It's about this large, and it has a woman's face and a man's face. I knew automatically what it was, and I had never seen it before. But it's a Roman wedding medallion. But when I touched it, I just knew, and it sort of had electricity in it. I let other people touch it. I said, do you feel anything? And some do and some don't. But It's incredible, and I have a lot of reference books, and I went to one of the I went through about 5 reference books, and I found one that was almost identical to it, and they told me exactly what it was. It looks just like my medallion, and I was very pleased because it's wonderful when you can find something that has some real history to it. So I just reached in, but when I touched it, it was like a spark of electricity. Really. I said, oh my gosh, you know, it was like Explorer Day. Who's my favorite child? I love them all. I love them all. If you like antiques or fall in love with antiques, and I'm not just talking about old stuff, I'm talking about things that have been loved, they all of a sudden you start liking everything. And my friends all realize this because if they start collecting things, and I can talk about books or I can talk about pieces of glass or little figurines, but if you start to get 1 or 2, then all of a sudden you want to have friends for your buddies who you've started collecting. So it just sort of keeps going and growing, and you just fall in love with this. And my friends all seem to be the same way. If you collect a friend, maybe you want another friend or a third friend. So collecting is absolutely a disease.